So my very first lesson is to embrace new paths. And the second lesson is the power of pivoting. Now, the third lesson that I have is making a huge impact. And number 4, the power of taking some time off. Fifth lesson, which is the power of online business. And the next lesson that I learned is the power of building a strong team. The 9th challenge that I would love to share with y'all is to embrace failures. Now, the next thing that I understood, my lesson 13 for you, is there's nothing called work-life balance. And the next lesson that I learned was innovation in marketing. And the next one I learned is about sustainable practices. And my last key lesson for 2024 is believing in myself.
Are you a business owner struggling to generate leads and close sales? Does it feel like without the right marketing and sales strategies, your business is just an expensive hobby? If this sounds familiar, you are in the right place. My name is Dr. Priya Jagannathan, digital product strategist and business automation expert specializing in marketing and sales strategies. This podcast is designed for business owners and entrepreneurs who want to take control of their business operations, supercharge their marketing efforts, and drive growth through strategic CRM and business automation. In every episode, we will dive deep into our Power Pivot framework, which basically involves your product and pricing, your online and offline presence, your warm lead generation strategies, evaluating your sales process, and creating retainer and retargeting existing client formula. Through this framework, even the smallest pivots can create massive business success. So, if you're ready to scale your business with simple, actionable strategies that combine the right marketing, automation, and CRM tips, you might want to listen to today's episode.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another interesting episode. Almost the last episode for 2024. So I want to wrap up this year with this particular episode called 24 Lessons from 2024. So 2024, the reason I'm cherishing this year so much is because this is my best year yet in terms of business, in terms of health, wealth, relationship, every aspect of my life. I'm so grateful for 2024. My 2022 was my lowest in all these 3 elements. I would say I was like the record hit low in 2022. I never want to revisit that year. It was really bad. 2019 was, I thought that was the worst in my life, but 2022 proved to be even more difficult for me. So if you are in that phase, just know that this phase shall pass very soon, and you have my complete empathy. And if you're like me celebrating 2024, then this episode will also give you another reason to just celebrate the milestones with others and look at things from a different perspective. So if you're struggling, challenging, celebrating, or planning, confused, whatever state of emotion you are, this episode is promised to give you a fresh perspective about things. And I hope you find value in my lessons in this amazing year. So the very first lesson that I learned is to embrace new paths, because till December 2023 or early 2024, my identity was a business coach. Though I was not doing just coaching, just sit back and ask questions. My unique proposition, my USP, was a business coach who does marketing for you. So I had an offshore team that actually implements marketing. So I always believed in action over advice. But then when I discussed my business model with a business broker, a lovely friend of mine, I kind of knew I was not building a business to sell. I just had a flexible job, because as a business coach with completely dependent on you, I was not building a company. So I had to change. Management is hard, especially in Australia. It's very, very hard. So I had to really, really coach and unlearn a lot of things to embrace a new path with a PhD in bioinformatics, starting my life as an academician and lecturing for 9 years in India, moving to Australia as a migrant, and in the last 9 years, moved 3 states. And one thing that I've done is I've taken big, bold, timely decisions. And that's helped me to whatever achievements I have today. So, and that only happens because I'm ready to embrace anything that life throws at me and any change that comes along the way. So, my very first lesson is to embrace new paths. And the second lesson is the power of pivoting. You know, my business is called Pivot to Thrive. The podcast is called Pivot to Thrive, is because I strongly believe if your current strategy in life or in business, if it isn't working, you don't have to quit, you just have to pivot. So I pivoted from a marketing and business coach to a CRM and business automation agency. Seems like a huge shift, but I use high level CRM, which is basically an all in one marketing CRM. I was doing the same thing using 10 different platforms that were not speaking to each other, paying multiple subscriptions. So it made so much sense for me to combine and consolidate everything into this one powerful platform that literally helped my business run on steroids and my client's business explode as well. So I so believe in that power of pivoting to align with what you're doing and to fast track your success. So I pivoted again for the 100th time with no shame or guilt or regret whatsoever from a business coach into a CRM transition advisor. That's what I call myself fancy these days, a CRM transition advisor. So, power of pivoting is something that I swear by. And this year, I don't think an entrepreneur will ever say, I've got all my ducks lined up. This is it. I've reached where I want to be. There's no more pivoting. There's no more changes happening. So for 2024, that's the pivot we've had from a business coaching company to high level CRM and business automation agency. And I'm super proud of the pivot that I've made. Now, the third lesson that I have is making a huge impact. Now, you know, I love the 3 words income, impact, and influence. Now, out of the 3 words, I think I'm more inclined to believe impact is my biggest value, biggest core value. I want to impact millions of people, billions of people all around the world. Okay, one core message: you have a bloody laptop and internet, you should be able to make money. That's one message that I want to go out loud and tell people. I know people who were literally making 100 rupees for a Zoom session, which is $2 for a Zoom session, now making 6 figures and 7 figures easy. This is from India, right? So I have seen rags to riches story with the power of internet, with the power of social media. So making an impact is my biggest core value. And this year I've made so much impact with India. I've visited India, and the connections that I've made through my YouTube, through my podcast, through my newsletter, through all my social media platform, my stories on Instagram and Facebook, and now I do it on WhatsApp too. And making an impact has been huge. I have given my 100% this year to the impact element, that what I can do to this particular business community or human community in general. So I'm super grateful that making an impact is my highest driving factor, and my focus was heavily there this year. And number 4, I really learned the power of taking some time off. So I went to India in June and July, though I call it a work plus holiday. One thing I wanted to check in my particular checklist is I can actually leave the country and still have something known as a business. Okay. So, and I still can enjoy without guilt or shame or regret. So, like, really cherishing time off with family is as important as chasing $1 million dreams. Now, that is also linked to my 5th lesson, which is the power of online business. Like I said, I was out of Australia for 2 months and I stopped networking from March. I was part of BNI in Australia. I was part of the BX networking group in the leadership team. I used to attend a lot of networking groups. I stopped everything because I was pivoting my business to CRM niche. I was learning and implementing. I was the guinea pig, experimented my company on the CRM firsthand while I was on a free trial. I moved 5 clients there. It was such an easy sell. And I was like, this is it. I found the missing piece of my puzzle. But even though I was in India, I was doing all the online webinars I was doing for Regional Business HQ, which is the Queensland government initiative to offer free webinars to Australian remote regional businesses. That was a great source of lead gen for me that funneled into other offers, and then they were nurtured using my email newsletter sequence. So I understood the power of online business because my income, influence, impact, team size, revenue, everything grew just with the power of online business, online social media platforms. I was heavily dependent on referrals because through my BNI networking, 50 to 60% of my leads and clients were through BNI. So I was terrified to leave it. But because I had set up systems right, I could understand that I had a full lead pipeline and a good sales pipeline with decent cash flow. So it was great. And the next lesson that I learned is the power of building a strong team. So I hired a lot of new team members this year, both in India and Pakistan. So imagine dealing with Pakistan. If you understand the political scenario between India and Pakistan, as an Indian woman sitting in Australia probably made it easier. But still an Indian woman, still there was lots of pushbacks from some Pakistani men. There was a lot of cultural differences, challenges to actually hire, train, fire. I would have dealt with so many different Pakistani team members. They have such excellent work ethic. They're amazing people. Sometimes there's an issue with communication skills and some culture stuff, but otherwise they are a great team players. And building a strong team that I can rely on has been such a good game changer. Even in my VA team in India, women team. So I say it fancy, I've got an all-female Indian admin marketing team and all-male tech Pakistan team, and they don't speak to each other. Okay, no amount of CRM can make them speak to each other, and that's the challenge that I face now. But then they are amazing. So this particular year, my biggest achievement is building a strong team, which is key for growing my business to whatever it is today. And my 7th lesson from 2024 is I learned the power of community. You know, I'm big on community service. Even when I was in Adelaide, I used to do a lot of volunteering activities, free tutoring with my council library. And I've always had a very, very high affinity to my Indians and Tamil speaking people. So if there's a funnel, then India is on the top, and then it comes down to Tamil speaking people, where I have a very, very high community affinity to my community people, Tamil speaking community. Now, when I got an opportunity to attend the inaugural of Australian Tamil Chamber of Commerce and be part of the executive committee team, I am super thrilled to be networking and being in a position to give back to Tamil speaking entrepreneurs. And I really, really understood the value of community, especially if it's something that's very close to your heart. It's a lot of work and it's voluntary, and there's no return on investment like in terms of monetary dollar value, but the satisfaction that I get is so worth than any other, Stripe payment or invoice being paid. Now, the next lesson that I learned is choosing the right fit for clients. Now, I think I am blessed and beyond grateful to say no to a few clients that I feel they're not the right fit. These days, I'm very, very picky and choosy with the energetic alignment. So if I feel the client is going to be a very, very hard sell, and then even after the hard sell, they're going to be very lot of hard work, which is not worth it, I really don't take on them. Okay, it's not about the instant gratification of signing a client and getting that money in the bank, but it's about choosing peace over that instant gratification. So I think that's probably one of the key lessons that I learned in 2024. It's not worth it. The drama is not worth it. The trauma is not worth it. And the 9th challenge that I would love to share with y'all is to embrace failures. I failed head on 100 times a day as I was learning this new CRM. There was imposter syndrome, a PhD in biotechnology. What are you doing as business automation? But I think the reason I was able to embrace that failure is because I think I had a lot of ickiness to the word business coach, because everyone can call themselves a business coach, but not everyone can call themselves a CRM expert, right? So I think that's where I was happy and aligned by the new niche that I was building, because people are not going to roll their eyes the moment I walk into a networking group and said business coach. Trust me, it happens more than you would imagine. Okay. So I learned to embrace failures. I failed terribly, but then I got back up and started building it. Now I can build workflows and things, not technically, but I can do it much better than people who have been there in the industry for more than 2 years. And I have literally witnessed that. Okay. So embracing failures has been such a great blessing for all the growth that I've had this year. And the 10th and the most important element that I want to talk about is time management. So when I say time management, it's not about Pomodoro technique or blocking things on your calendar and things like that. I actually gave myself time. I did everything possible to fill my cup. If I wanted a girls' night out, I did it. If I wanted a sleepover at my girlfriend's, I did it. If I wanted a girlfriend's trip to Bali, I did it. Okay. If I just wanted to sit with my gin at 11 a.m. and binge on Netflix, I gave myself permission to do it, and I caught up on work the next day. So doing things without shame, regret, and guilt is a huge time management, because otherwise I'm going to sit and stare at the monitor, not feeling my best to actually focus on work, but I'm still there because I don't want to feel guilty, right? So I literally gave myself permission to manage my time based on my moon cycle, based on my hormone cycle, based on everything that was going on in my life. So that was a huge game changer. That's what I call time management. I'm not going to give you a technique. I'm just going to tell you, if you don't feel like it, don't waste time doing it. Whatever you feel like doing, spend your energy and time just doing on things that you feel aligned or called to do, not anything else. And the 11th lesson that I have for 2024 is my financial acumen increased considerably, which I'm super proud of. I think I just had this internal monologue in me that I'm not good with cash flow. I'm not good at managing cash, money, because until the day I got married, I used to give my ATM card and my entire finances was managed by my dad. I used to give my entire salary to him. And after marriage, I used to give it to my husband. I never used to carry my debit card with me. And then, so I think that just became a belief, because I kept saying on the same thing. I don't know to manage finances. I'm not good at it. My dad is good at it. My husband is good at it. So I think I actually took things complete control, and now I saw the gaps where the cash flow had issues. I fixed those gaps. I created retainer containers. I did a lot of things, and I can visibly see my financial acumen is extremely good than where I was last year this time. Now, the next lesson I have for 2024 is my willingness to leverage technology. In terms of AI, I would have done a minimum of 12 workshops face-to-face and online about the power of AI in marketing, in power of AI in doing a lot of things, and also providing access to my team to use AI. The use case is my team members are based in India and they do not have good communication skills, but giving them access to AI tools basically overcomes that particular challenges. So leveraging technology to the advantage of my team members, advantage of my clients, and just for me to save time has been such a big game changer. So if you haven't jumped on the AI bandwagon or used a CRM to automate your life, please feel free to book a demo call using the link in the show notes. It will blow your mind. The CRM that I use, I'll show you a demo, and it's going to be like, please prayer sign me up. That's the only thing I've heard after my demo calls. Now, the next thing that I understood, my lesson 13 for you, is there's nothing called work-life balance. Okay, I was only thinking probably my word for 2025 should be balance. But then I thought there's nothing called balance. It's only about priorities. Whatever needs the top priority at that point in time, that's what is going to get my time, energy, and attention. And then the next day, it could be a different priority. If my kids need me, if my kid is sick, then my kid is going to get complete attention. I'm not going to call it a work life balance. So I understood that there is nothing called work life balance. It's all about priorities. And the next key lesson that I learned was to network effectively. So I was there everywhere, like a dog chasing a bone. All right. Every networking event, whether it was a good fit or not, I was there because it made me feel nice shaking hands with people. But I also said the more hands you shake, the more money you make. But I was only shaking hands, but there was not making money. So that made me evaluate and audit the meetings that I was attending, whether it had good return on investment of my time in terms of good relationship, in terms of getting me referrals, clients, because I don't want friendship at this age. It's a very expensive friendship. So I learned to pick and choose networking groups and other elements of networking, which has a good return on investment of my time in terms of income, impact, and influence. 3 words. That's your keyword, baby. And then the next lesson, my 15th lesson in 2024, is continuous learning. Learning never stops. Pivoting never stops. Imagine this entire year I've mastered an entire CRM that I have no qualification, that I have nothing to do, and I'm all self-taught. From everything that I've been doing since 2018 and 19 till today, self-taught, and made hundreds of thousands of dollars, all because I was willing to learn. I was willing to develop. I was willing to implement. I was willing to fail. I was willing to experiment. I was willing to help people. I always believe selling equals serving. So it all starts with continuous learning, the attitude that you want to be learning, you want to be updated with what's happening in the world. And the 16th lesson in 2024 is about customer service. Like, I really want to be like an Apple store. If I go into an Apple store, you never come out with a frustrated experience. You have such a good user experience. And I wanted my CRM company to have that. So touch wood, I haven't had churn in my company. I've had my clients referring me more clients. And it's been such a great experience because my customer service focus has improved considerably. I've brought systems in place for my team. I've brought things, the culture for my team, to make sure to put the client's requests on priority, respond to emails on time, have project management tools on time. So there are so many internal, systems and processes and templates and procedures we have brought that has been a game changer. So customer service at the forefront has been our top mantra for this year. And I'm super, super proud of that lesson that I've learned the hard way, to be honest. And then the next lesson is the power of delegation. Okay. So as business owners, it's hard to let go of things, as most of you know. But I think power of delegating this particular year, especially because I had more travel and we scaled and we're bringing some structure to the team. So I've got a project manager who project manages most of the team. I've got internal leaders that manage my team members, individual team members with different specialty and niches. So there are so many things that we've brought into the team, like co-working hours, training calls every week, so many different things that we made that I delegated the power. So my team pretty much run by the team members itself. Okay, they help each other, they form power groups, they form accountability buddies, and that's how I want to do it. I don't want everything to be driven by prayer. I don't want that. So the power of delegation was a very, very key lesson that I learned. And the next lesson that I learned was innovation in marketing. So marketing is a key. I always say if you don't have the right marketing and sales, it's just an expensive hobby. At this stage with such a huge team, I don't think I can call my business a hobby anymore. So it is a serious business and there's a lot of lives and families depending on the payroll the first of every month. So I think I have to be very, very innovative with my marketing. For example, even using WhatsApp for my marketing has been a game changer. I've tapped into those contacts who are not following me on social media to actually capture those audience. And that helped me get, for example, one client who's my friend's mother-in-law. Who would have thought? My friend's mother-in-law, 62 years old in India, wanted to start a yoga meditation business. And that came through in a mid four-figure Australian dollars. So really, really focusing on such things crucial. So being innovative and continuously pivoting, marketing is key for growing your business. And that was another important lesson. And the next one I learned is about sustainable practices. When I say sustainability, it's not about anything green, clean energy stuff. But when I say sustainable, every initiative that I do, I see whether I can do it for a longer period of time. Okay, every Monday morning, 9 o'clock, we send out newsletter. So I kept it weekly, even though it's a lot of time commitment, but I still do it weekly. I still think I can do it weekly for the next 5 years. So it's sustainable long term. I'm doing this podcast one episode every week. Now, I would love to do it 3 episodes a week, but even now my VA struggles to get this one episode out of me every week. So I know it's not sustainable if I change my scheduling to 2 or 3 episodes a week. Now, YouTube is again struggling. So whenever I do things, I make sure I don't overpromise and underdeliver. I want to keep things sustainable, and I want to say, do I want to be doing this for the next 3 years of my life? And if it's a big yes, then I choose that. Okay. If I don't want to be doing TikTok, I'll say, if I do, I want to do TikTok for the next 3 years. Now, TikTok is banned in India. From next week, it's going to be banned in the US. Will I invest my time and energy? No, I will not. Okay. It can happen in Australia too. So always keeping in mind whether I would do this for the next 5 years of my life or 3 years of my life is the way I see sustainable practices in my business. And then the next one I would say, which is also similar to pivoting, but I would say adapting to change very, very quickly. I told you my biggest, the factor for any achievement is big, bold, timely decisions. Similarly, adaptability is key. Like as a migrant, you get adapted to a new country, new culture, new language, new way of living, new city, new place, everything. You're literally uprooted from your origin into a new country. And the more quickly you adapt to the new country, you feel settled and you start moving and you start progressing and start checking boxes. So as a migrant, I think everybody has a level of adaptation. And I always believe, especially in business, if you're not adapting to changes, you struggle to survive, let alone thrive. Yeah. And then next, the lesson that I learned is it's not about what you know. It's not about who you know. It's about who knows you. I really, really believed in that. And I started knocking on doors to give me opportunity to speak a lot of public speaking engagement, because I strongly believe in that. It's about who knows you. So next year, I'm also partnering with another organization, which is going to be massive in the Indian community all around the world. So I'm super excited for that. So I'm putting myself out there with lots of intention and alignment to be known, to be seen, to be heard. Okay, because that's very, very important. And then it also aligns with my next lesson, which is the community contributions is key for me. I did my DISC assessment and I found out about my core values and my business ethics and social and community aspect, giving back people, were on my highest value ladder. So I understand giving back to community is how I thrive, is what I'm passionate about. It's what keeps me going. So I focus more on community events, community organizations, and community initiatives that helps really, really fill my cup. And the next one I learned is the personal development. So I attended a lot of personal development activities, events, retreats, webinars, you name it, I've done it. And I'm constantly evolving as an individual and as an entrepreneur, as a leader, leading my team in different countries, different time zones. And as I grow, I really believe in evolving through personal development. And my last key lesson for 2024 is believing in myself. When I didn't believe in myself, I actually was very vulnerable. I cried to my husband, my kids, that I'm a failure and I feel like a failure. But then my husband believed in me more than I would always, and he gave me those words of motivation when I needed the most. So when you don't believe in yourself, rely on shoulders that would believe in you more than you believe in yourself. So I'm lucky enough to have my husband and kids. And I remember one day I cried to my son, my 13-year-old, that I'm such a failure, I'm a loser, or something. I said really something bad. And then he said, "You are the most hardworking person I've ever seen in my entire life." And when my son said that, I'm like, I felt that sense of satisfaction. I'm even tearing up as I record this. That, I don't want the world to know or validate me, but my son has told I'm the most hardworking woman he has ever seen. So that's the perception, and that's the impact that I've created for my son as a mother. And as you know, I would love to be the mother version of me, to be more proud than the entrepreneur businesswoman version of me. So I truly believed in myself even when I fully didn't believe in myself. When I did the whole transition, pivoting, and starting from scratch, I literally started from scratch this year again for the 100th time. And I can finally say I've found my sweet spot and I'm going to scale in this particular CRM and business automation agency. So if you are in the middle of all the chaos of pivot and self-doubt and failure, just know there's still hope. All you have to do is believe in yourself like I did. And when you didn't believe in yourself, just rely on someone who would believe in you as much as you want to believe in you. So I hope these 24 lessons resonated with each one of you listening to this episode. And if you feel like there's something that's really caught your attention, or you would like to discuss, or you don't disagree, or you do disagree, just let me know. And I would love to know your perception on this, and share with me what was your biggest lesson in 2024. I would love to know. And I wish each one of you a very, very happy and prosperous new year. And you'll hear from me in 2025. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you found value in today's episode, make sure to follow, share, leave a review so we know that you love listening to us. And if you are looking at more valuable tips, insights, tools, and resources to help grow your business, please visit pivottothrive.com.au. I will leave links in the show notes below. Just remember, if your current strategy isn't working, you don't have to quit. You just pivot, because the right pivot can make a huge difference. Let's pivot and keep thriving. I'll see you in the next episode.